In the next few videos, I'm going to walk you through the process of writing a real college essay. And when I say real, I mean that it's an actual essay assignment from an actual college course that is not taught by me and is not one of my classes. In fact, the assignment was for a communications class at a Canadian community college program for graphic arts students. I have the actual text of the assignment as well as an email exchange between the instructor and a student regarding the assignment topic. In this video, I'm going to show you the assignment and this exchange because it highlights a lot of the essay writing principles that we've been talking about. In subsequent videos, I'll take over and walk through the process of researching, outlining, and writing a complete draft of this essay. We have our Scrivener document open with our essay writing template all set up. If this is your first exposure to this template, I recommend going back and watching the 2 previous videos in this series that introduce this template. Now let's open up the preliminary folder. I've got a text document called the assignment, which has a number of sub-documents. I'm using this to organize all the information we have about the assignment and any communications we might have about the assignment. Here's the opening paragraph under Rationale. In your academic and professional career, sound research and analytical skills will be required regardless of your program of study or employment situation. The effective use of the resources available to you will be critical, as will the skills involved in expressing your ideas in a clear, accurate, and organized fashion. So this is just trying to explain why essay writing skills might be relevant to students pursuing a career in the visual arts. Now let's look at the assignment wording. Write a 4 to 5 page research essay exploring a topic related to the field of animation, illustration, or design studies. Focus on a topic on which differing opinions can be held. Refer to the list of suggested topics for some ideas. You must have your topic approved before you begin. Your goal is to provide your reader with both a general overview and your own informed assessment of the topic or issue. So first off, we know how long our essay is supposed to be. 4 to 5 pages is anywhere between 1,000 and 1,300 words. If we use the standard convention that a single double-spaced page with 1-inch margins and a 12-point font like Times Roman has about 250 words on it. So in terms of length, this is similar to the dream essay that I walked you through in the previous video. And second, we know that we're being asked to write an argumentative or persuasive essay, even though the assignment doesn't use this wording explicitly. The key is in the instructions to focus on a topic on which differing opinions can be held, and to provide your own informed assessment of the topic. The essay has to be on an issue on which there is some disagreement, and for which reasons can be offered for or against a particular stance on the issue. And what you're required to do is present and defend a particular stance on the issue. That's going to be your thesis statement. And third, we know that we're going to need to do some research and cite some sources in the essay, since it's called a research essay, and under basic requirements here, we're told that we need a minimum of 4 significant sources. And we're going to have to include copies of these resources in the final draft. This reference to the GAS Style Guide is the term this institution uses for a general art style guide. There's a style document that we'll take a look at later, but it's basically APA style guidelines. Now, APA stands for American Psychological Association. If you want to learn more about different citation styles, I have a separate unit in this course on how to cite sources and avoid plagiarism, where I talk about APA style guidelines. So, that's the final product that we need to deliver. But this assignment is for a communications class, where part of the goal of the class is to help teach students how to approach assignments like this. So this assignment includes a lot of what educators like to call scaffolding. Lots of guidance on intermediate steps that are required to complete the assignment. So if you're in this class, you would be spending a good deal of class time working on the essay. This instructor has added some intermediate deadlines that break down the writing process. Part 1 involves researching, identifying sources, and writing a detailed outline. And this needs to be submitted 3 weeks in advance of Part 2, which is the final essay due date. Now let's look at what the instructor has included under suggested topics. The following suggestions may lead you to an interesting topic for your essay. Consider doing some preliminary investigation of one of the following ideas. And a bunch of ideas are listed below. But first notice this line. Once you have selected a broad subject of interest to you, you should begin the process of narrowing the focus to determine your essay topic. Remember that your topic must be approved by your professor before you proceed with your research. So what the student actually has to do first, before getting to the outline phase, is they need to do some preliminary browsing and select a broad topic area, and then specify a narrower issue within that broader topic, and submit that to the instructor for approval. This is actually a good thing, and we'll see why in a minute. Now here's a list of suggested topics, and you can see they cover quite a range, but they're all in areas related to art and design in some way. You can see how the broad topic, narrow topic distinction is being drawn. Culture and lifestyle is the broad topic. Graffiti or body art would be the narrow topic. Influence of Canadian artists is the broad topic. The influence of Emily Carr or Robert Bateman would be the narrow topic. Now let me show you an actual student proposal for their research topic submitted to the instructor for feedback. Students were asked to identify a broad topic, a narrow topic, and a working thesis statement. The student chose job prospects for fine art students after graduation as the broad topic. For the narrow topic, the student wrote, how many fine art students actually get work in their field? And here's what they wrote as a working thesis statement. Fine art students often struggle with finding employment in their field immediately after graduating and end up giving up and pursuing something else because they underestimate how much time it takes to become successful and productive in that field. Students need to realize that learning is a lifelong process and the skills they acquire can be applied to things not immediately evident in traditional university offerings. Now, I said that submitting this kind of proposal for review is often a good thing, and here's why. If there's a structural problem with your vision of the essay at this beginning stage, it's much better to catch it now at the outset than to discover it farther down the line after you've invested a lot of time on an essay that is structurally unsound. So the student submits this to the instructor. Here's the instructor's feedback. These statements, fine art students often struggle with finding employment in their field and students need to realize that learning is a lifelong process, are more factual than arguable. In other words, I don't think there is a school of thought that fine art students do not struggle or that students do not need to realize that learning is a lifelong process. If you don't have a point of view to support, you don't have the basis for a persuasive essay. Now, the instructor is using the terms factual and arguable in somewhat odd ways, but from the clarification, it's clear what's intended. To call a claim factual is to say that there is general agreement that the claim is true, that it's an agreed fact. And by arguable, the instructor means that there's room for disagreement about the claim. So the feedback that the instructor is giving this student is that in this proposal, they haven't identified an issue that anyone would disagree with, and that this is a problem, because an essential feature of a persuasive essay is that you need to identify an issue about which reasonable people might disagree, so that there's a reason for offering arguments in favor of one side or the other. The instructor gives one more piece of feedback. It's not clear what you mean by skills they acquire can be applied to things not immediately evident in traditional university offerings. Are you saying that the skills learned in a university program are transferable? Well, this would be factual as well. So here, the instructor is asking the student to clarify this statement, and that if all it means is that the skills learned in university programs can be transferred to other kinds of work, this is obviously true as well. I actually don't think that this is what the student's getting at, but the point is that it's unclear. Now, as a student, I might be discouraged to get this kind of feedback, but I should also be thankful because it really is helpful. And why is it helpful? Because it's feedback about a fundamental structural issue. Not an issue of style, not wording or spelling or formatting. It's feedback about what's required for any good argumentative or persuasive essay. That minimally, you need to have something to argue about, something to take sides on. I know it's obvious when you put it this way, but this example just illustrates that for many students, it's not obvious. Not unless they've done some argumentative writing in the past and are familiar with the conventions of this form of essay writing. In the next video, I'm going to show you how the essay topic was revised and the results of some preliminary research.